we're about to celebrate 7 years. We planted the church in 2019 because the Lord spoke to me in Round Rock, Texas, in the year of 2014 about planting a church called Renaissance, and then specifically about Richmond, Texas. And so we've been very serious about hearing and obeying the prompting and leading of the Lord. And so this has been an incredible journey for us, and I just want to kind of give you a little bit of the longer story. After planting our church in January of 2019, that May of 2019, Casey and I went to an anniversary getaway. We got an Airbnb in Wimberley, Texas. That's where we had lived before. I'd served at a church there, and while we were there that weekend, the pastor that kind of discipled us, he married Casey and I, he ordained me into ministry. He announced that he was stepping down from his role of leading that church. And we were out and about in town. We saw lots of people that we knew, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, did you hear about the church?" And we're like, "No, we have no idea what you're talking about." They told us the news. And when they did, I sensed the Spirit of the Lord say to me that I would be offered a job 5 years. And we had just planted a church. We just launched it on knowing that God had called us to do that. And so I thought, that is the weirdest thought I've ever had. Surely that was not from God. So I wrote it in my journal. I filed it away, and I did not tell a soul. In 2024, my friend Jose, who now pastors that church, he called me and said, "Hey, we would love to have you come this summer and preach because I'm going on a sabbatical. If you would come and fill in, I would love to have you." And of course, I was honored to do that. I said yes. He picked a date that was 5 years to the weekend that I sensed the Lord speak to me. And so then I decided, well, maybe that was from the Lord. And so I decided to tell my wife finally. Husbands and wives, sometimes we have to wait because we don't want to toy with each other's emotions when we feel like God's saying something. And so I told her. We went there. We began to pray, what is this? What's happening? We preached that Sunday. It was kind of a surreal moment to be there. And then nothing happened. For a full year, I was like, oh, okay, that was it. I was going to go preach. That was it. On my sabbatical in the summer of 2025, this past summer, one of the places that we wanted to go was Wimberley because our son wanted to visit the Texas State campus. Go Bobcats. Thank you. We're getting better. I'm sliding it in there every Sunday. And so we did. We decided to go just a few hours early and visit the late service of the church there that I had served at. And the pastor was there that Sunday. He said, "Hey, I'd love to get breakfast with you this week if you're available." I said, "I'd love to." We got breakfast. We talked for 2.5 hours. Great conversation. I'm running out the door because I'm perpetually late, and I have to go take Will to this campus tour. And I'm just sprinting out. And he's like, "Hey, wait. I don't want to speak out of turn, but if you would ever feel led to move your family back here, I would love to have you on our team." I said, "Man, I'm honored. Thank you. I've got to leave right now, but I'll think about that." And so Casey and I took some time to pray about that. We felt like we were supposed to just explore that with them. We did. And we honestly felt like the Lord was closing that door, making clear that we were not supposed to go about 3 different times through the process. Then in December 4th, they offered me a position at the church. I took more time to talk with others, to pray, to talk with Casey, to fast and pray. And during that time, I really sensed the Lord say that, yes, he is sending us to Wimberley, Texas. So that's a very difficult announcement for me to make because this is my church. You're my people. This is my baby. And so we will be finishing my time here on March 22nd. And so I wanted to let you guys know that. In that, I actually have more to share about this transition because there's some things that God has been saying about what's next for our church. I want to talk about the next season of our church. In fact, I'm really, really excited about that because the question that was burning in my mind as I sensed the Lord shifting our family was, what's next for Renaissance? Like, God, what do you have for us? And of course, talking with Glenn, talking with the overseers, that was our big question. Okay, like, what's next, God? And we prayed, and we talked, and we talked, and we prayed, and we talked, and we prayed, and we talked, and we prayed, and here's where we landed. We felt like the next best thing for our church body would be if Glenn would pray about becoming the next lead pastor of our church. I'll tell you a little bit about Glenn. Glenn was a young man that I met when I was serving at a church in Round Rock, Texas. He was working a camera in the back of the sanctuary. I was a worship leader back then. I was a music guy. And I saw this college dude back there, and I went to the church pastor. I was like, do we have anybody like pouring into our college students? They're like, no. I was like, well, can I just like do that? Sure. And so I invited Glenn and another young man. We just had lunch every week, and we just started talking about God, Jesus, and our walk, began reading books together. And I got to watch him grow spiritually. He went off to Texas State University. He served at the same church that I served at. He was a part of the same college ministry that I was a part of there. Whenever he graduated, he moved here post-college, got a job for his uncle's company, and he helped us plant the church. And he's been here almost every single Sunday serving our church in some capacity from the very beginning. About a year and a half ago, Glenn quit his real job at Dell, and he came on staff as our executive pastor. And Glenn has taken so much off my plate. It has just been an amazing breath of fresh air. I love him. I trust him. And so we wanted to give Glenn some time to pray about that. But you know, Glenn's had a few things going on in his life. He just got engaged to AJ, so that's really cool, right? And you know, there's just a lot on a young man's mind when he's thinking about engagement. And so I'm like, I don't know how you're going to have the like mental space to pray about this and to think about this, but like, we'd love for you to pray about this. And of course he did. And after that, he just feels like, yes, like the Lord is leading him into this next season. And as he said to me, I've got my hands open saying, okay, God, I'm here for you. And so Glenn is in. Isn't that awesome? Can we thank God for that? I love it. I'm so excited for him. I'll just tell you this, you're getting an upgrade, okay? I will be honest with you, he's so much better at so many things than I am, and his organizational leadership of our team has been excellent, very excellent. And so you guys are getting an incredible upgrade. With that, we're making plans to kind of shift our team around. So Lolly is going to continue on with our prayer ministry and hospitality, leading in that area. Can we give it for Lolly, who serves us so well in that? Havana has been serving our church in worship. She has been so faithful and so good at leading us in worship every Sunday. We're so grateful for her. We're taking her position that's been sort of like a week by week, and we're kind of lifting her into worship ministry director. She'll be a part-time staff member here at our church, and so give it up for her, Vanna, back there leading us in that. So good. Sarah Medina has been kind of overseeing some stuff back there with all of our folks that volunteer and serve in AV, making sure they know what they need to know and get trained and all that good stuff. She has an administrative strength. She was a teacher, so she's like way up here on my list of like heroes, okay? I'm married to a teacher, so I know what it takes. And so she's going to be stepping into an expanded administrative role in our church body, helping us with volunteer coordination across the entire church body to take some things off of Glenn's plate. So give it up for Sarah back there who's helping us with that. You heard that we just announced, Jacob is stepping out of student ministry. So we are actively seeking someone who can step into our student ministry with Rise Student Ministry that will lead our 6th through 12th graders. And we believe God's going to provide that person. Also, Jacob and Jocelyn Reyes have been a kind of newer addition to our church family. They're going to help us just kind of real part-time with some worship and communication help. And so if you could get up for those guys, just wave. You don't know them yet. They're in the back. Y'all wave for us. They have a little one. So they're going to be stepping into some helpful things for us as a church body. So these are exciting developments for our church body. Casey said, now, why couldn't we do all this before we were leaving? And I was like, just the Lord has a way of transitioning things. And what happens is he raises people up in the process. And that's what happens. And as the Lord sends us out, there's going to be new gaps that are created in our church. And I believe that God is already positioning some of you guys to step into those roles, okay? So this is a moment to step in with a greater passion for our church body. With that, we're also looking for an associate pastor that would help with teaching and preaching. Glenn, of course, has had some experience with that here at Renaissance, but not as much as most other guys stepping into lead pastor roles. So we want to help him by hiring somebody that will help with teaching and preaching in that area of our ministry. And so as the body, if you know somebody that we should be considering, would you please let us know that name and get us in contact with them? We would love to include you in that process. Now, I know that that's a lot of information. That's a lot of announcements to kind of digest, but that's where we're going. And I'm so excited for this next season of Renaissance. I'll just kind of remind you of what our timeline is. I'm not leaving today. I'll be here for the next 9 Sundays. On March 22nd, I will be sent out from there. You guys, just like that church, will lay hands on us and send us out, and we will lay hands on Glenn and ordain him into this next role of lead pastor. I will pass that baton gladly onto him in that way on that Sunday, March 22nd. So I just want to encourage you to be there that Sunday. And it's as difficult and emotional as this is, friends, this is what it means to be a healthy church.